Mephibosheth. I want you to hear this. Please hear this. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Watch the opportunities that Mephibosheth had. First, he messed up because he fell. He didn't do it. It was done to him. Then he was in Lodabar. He didn't do it. It was done to him. Now he's before the king. Has an opportunity to change his whole life. But how does he refer to himself? As a dead dog. But now he's in the king's presence. And in his presence, the king blew it big time. He had ever turned away from the king. But the king now said to Mephibosheth, to Ziba, so where is your master? Oh, by the way, your master, my master is at home planning to, guess what? Take over the kingdom. That's what Ziba told the king. That Mephibosheth is at home planning to take over the kingdom, to get what is his. The king got mad and got angry with Mephibosheth. You know what the king said? You know what the king said at that point? Once he heard what Ziba said, he says, okay, I'll fix this. All of what I gave to Mephibosheth before, all the goods, guess who's going to get it now? Ziba. Go back to chapter 9. Don't go back. Go back in your mind to chapter 9. When the king said, is there anyone left from the house of Jonathan that I might bless? Remember what Ziba said? Yes, there is one left. But he added a little piece of information that the king didn't ask about. The last thing he said to the king was what? But he is a cripple. That was his way of saying, you can't bring him here. And if he came back, he might get the blessing that Ziba was trying to get for himself. So now the king says, all of what I've given to Mephibosheth, guess who gets it now? Ziba did, and he was happy. So king made it back home safely. When he got home, he saw Mephibosheth, and he was angry at Mephibosheth and says, what is this, man? I could see him saying, I've given you everything. What are you trying to do? What happened? And the truth came out. And his young man told the king. And by the way, listen to what happened. This young man did not bathe, did not shave, barely ate anything. In fact, didn't eat anything as long as the king was gone. He had been transformed from a selfish, wanting to die, thinking he was a nobody, to now he was serving the king. He was awesomely looking forward to the king. He had been changed and transformed to the effect that this young man could not do much when his king was gone. He was, I would say, praying for him and hoping for the best. When he came home, he was so happy to see the king. And he told the king what was going on. And then he also told the king, my servant lied to me and deceived me. And when the king found out what Ziba had done, now what did the king say? I want you to hear this. Today is the first day of the rest of what will you do with your life? Even if it's been messed up. Whether you did it to yourself or someone did it to you, doesn't matter. God is still at work right now. What did the king say once he found out from the truth from Mephibosheth? What did the king say about the goods? Bring all the goods into the place. I'm going to cut the goods in half. Half goes to Ziba, half goes to. I want you to see the transformation that took place. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Here's what Mephibosheth said to the king. Okay, you want to tell me what you think he said? This is really the heart of a man or woman, the true heart of a person. You know what he said? I don't want it, king. Let him have it all. You know why? He got what he wanted. He had the king. He got the king. He had a relationship with the king. That was the most important thing to him. He said, let him have it all. I've got what I needed. I've got the king. And I'm saying to you, every place there was opportunities to fail, to mess up, to walk away, to give up, did happen to Mephibosheth. But he kept coming and kept staying. And people came into his life and things began to happen. Finally, the king brought him into his life, and sitting at the king's table transformed him to the extent that the material things did not matter. And he was willing to say, King, I've got you, and that's good enough. Let me represent into our own lives. How about your journey? Have you been in Mephibosheth, where something happened as a child, from whatever age, abuse, be it sexual, emotional, verbal, whatever, a death of somebody, something might have happened. What happened? And have you felt it was over then and have pretty much lived your life in a sense like that? I want to say to you, today is still the first day of your life, and there can be a difference. And God is doing things to bring about that change. Because King David said the words, and those are the words of our King and our Father today, Jesus, God the Father as well. Is there anyone left that I might bless? He's still saying that today. He's still out with his blessing. Not to hide it from you, but he wants you to have it. Now, once in a while, he might pull back away. Wilderness, how much do you really want it? And I mean the material things, I mean him. How much do you want him? If you seek me with all of your heart, you shall find me. If you seek me early in the morning, you shall find me. He's not hiding from you, but sometimes it feels like he pulls back because in my mind is what if, do you really care? Do you really love me? Come after me in a sense. I'm after you. I'm always after you. But would you come after me? And Mephibosheth was after him. He became his name. He destroyed the shame of his past. He destroyed the shame of his past. The idol. He had idolized his past. We might think how that when we give our attention fully to something, good or bad, that becomes an idol. Whatever it is, you might have good intention, but if that takes your heart away from God, that's your idol, my friend. And his condition was his idol. But it got broken, and then it went to the king. And I believe the king referred that to God the Father. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. What are you going to do about it? We got a few minutes. I want to do some interaction now. Talk to me. I've given you the foundation. Talk to me. Ask questions. Issues that relate to where you are in your own journey. And we all been there, from the wilderness experience to brokenness. We all have our stuff. Don't say, I know you do. We all do. Whether the world knows it or not, we got our stuff we're dealing with. But let's talk together. What are you hearing? What are you sensing? What can you say to help us? What questions that you might have for us to work with in the next few minutes? While you're thinking, why did David want to bless Mephibosheth, or a son, this son? Why? Was it out of order the blue, or is there a reason why?
Commitment, love for Jonathan.
A commitment, a love, and a promise for Jonathan. If you remember when David was young, and Jonathan's dad was king, how many times the king tried to kill David, and even Jonathan by the end. And how Jonathan, who was the son of the king, to be the next king, this was truly amazing, was willing to give up that role because somehow he knew, without knowing, that the next king was not him. It was David. And he did not fight David, he was not jealous of David. He stood, in fact, supported and defended David. And they made a covenant with each other. I'm here to tell you tonight, David made a covenant with both Jonathan, his best friend, and with his own father. From Jonathan, it was a heart of love and care. But when the father, Saul, was chasing David to kill him, at least twice David had a chance to kill the king and didn't. Instead he said, what did he say? Why could he not kill the king? I want you to hear this. Respect. But how did he say it? I want you to hear what he said. How did he say it? Do not touch the Lord's anointed. Now wait a minute. Anointed? You sure? He had disobeyed God. He tried to kill David, kill his own son. What do you mean anointed? Whether he failed or not, he was still in that anointed place. And even when your leaders fail, your parents fail, others who might have wronged you, be careful how you address that issue. I didn't say don't address it, but how you address it matters. What you do with that, because what you might not know, that the person that you think has messed up, but I yet have a blessing for you that you need to receive. So on one of the last journey with King Saul came to the realization fully who was supposed to be king. And even he then said to David, make me a promise, David. This is King Saul, not Jonathan, who is his best friend. King Saul tried to kill him, said, make me a promise. Basically, this was a promise. Don't promise me you won't kill my family. Because he knew the tradition of the time. And guess what David said? No, I won't. I'll kill your family, right? No, David didn't say that. David promised them, I won't do it. So it was not David that tried to kill the family of Saul in any way at all, but that would have been the natural thing, the expected things to do at that time. So David gave a promise to his best friend, Jonathan, but also to the father of Jonathan. So he had a double commitment to follow through. It was this that motivated him when he was in a good place in his kingdom to say, is there anyone left from the house of Saul? Jonathan, my friend, that I might bless. And he kept his word and blessed him. Yes. That's what an add that piece. Again, give me some feedback, some thoughts, or a challenge. You might disagree with some things I've said. I'm good with that. Talk to me.
So you said Saul asked David to promise him that he wouldn't kill his family.
Yes.
And then, when Mephibosheth had to leave because they found out that Saul and Jonathan were killed.
Right, but not by David and his kingdom, by the other enemy. They were in a fight with the other enemies and they killed, and that group would have come anyway and tried to kill the family.
Okay.
Yes, correct. David was still not king yet, he became king later, which is another important point. God had called him to become king, but from David's anointing to become king to his appointment was a long, hard desert and journey. But can I tell you something tonight, saints? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. If God gives you a promise, guess what? He cannot fail you. He will keep that promise. I mentioned about difficulty as a child at the age of 5 or younger. Can I reverse that now before I close? What has God promised you when you were a kid? What did God and you talk about in your own quiet prayer time that God spoke into your heart, that you know God spoke it? And now you're an adult and you haven't seen it yet fulfilled. God cannot lie. What he says he will do it. So I'm going to ask you to go back to that place where God, you know it was God, who says something to you in your spirit, in your heart, in your dream, somehow to your mom, your dad, a friend, a pastor, somebody. What did God say to you when you were younger? 5, younger, a bit older? And I'm saying to you, your time for that fulfillment is about to happen. It's right on, this is 2020, double 20, double blessing, double. And I don't mean just blessing of material things, I mean spiritual stuff that God wants to do through us, from revelation to understanding, to the broadening of our minds about who he is, revealing himself to us. I'm telling you, God has things yet to show us that we can't yet even imagine. And I'm wondering if our season is now upon us. And I don't bring up age to me as an issue, whether young or old. God has no problem with age. Don't make that an excuse. Don't make that no, doesn't matter how young you are, no matter how old you are, God works through the old people and young people and middle-aged people. So give me an excuse that works. Come on, that doesn't work. Give me one that works. Because none really works at the end of the day. Amen? Amen. Thoughts, questions, insights. Somebody came